I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, it's been another crazy week in Genoa City. I'm Rachel Goodman. I am so excited to talk to you about The Young and the Restless and everything that we have been seeing. We have some Adam drama. We've got, I guess, kind of a little bit of Chelsea drama in there with him, sort of, kind of. We'll talk on it in a bit later. We also have some Billy and Amanda drama, and we did get a glimpse into Victor's, well, the Newman 50th anniversary party that's coming up. Before I dive in, I just want to give a shout out to the chat. We've got Mary, Kenneth Clark, Hubby Joe, Aaron Brody. Let me make sure. Oh, Susan Russo. Yes, I did not say her name yet. And yeah, I believe that's everybody in the chat. So keep your comments coming in. I'm going to read them as we go. Also, stay tuned until the very end. We have a Caption That moment, which so many of you commented on the Restless Rap. Wow, that was funny. The Restless Rap Facebook page with your Caption That comment. So I'm going to be reading those as well as our law moment. And then we're going to hit the predictions at the very end. So let's dive right in. Mary says, Rachel, by doing the Caption That, you should pick a winner and let us know who won. Absolutely. When we get to our Caption That, we'll all take a vote and then I'll pick my winner, but then you guys can pick your winner too. And then Kenneth Clark says, can't wait to see Eric, aka Victor's anniversary episode. Yeah, so let's talk about that for a little bit because we did get a little bit with Victor this week. We had Ashley returning, which was amazing. And she had this very sentimental scene with Victor, and so for all of you who are familiar with James, James, who originally created the Restless Rap, and he's been on some of the other soap shows at AfterBuzz, he was telling me that he had actually gotten to go to that, the anniversary for Eric Braden's, his 40th anniversary of being on The Young and the Restless, but it was for, I think, what we're getting for next week, which is the 50th Newman anniversary party. But in any case, the reason I'm mentioning that is because what I'm guessing is that Ashley got that moment with Victor before all the festivities, just to kind of come back and have a moment where everyone, all the fans who've been watching for such a long time, can reflect on the comings and goings of Genoa City. And it was just such a nice fan service where we got to see two very long-standing characters have this intimate conversation where, Ashley and Victor just kind of, instead of being at each other's throats, we see that after all of these years, they are on good terms, and all of everything that could have happened between them, they are now just in a very good place. And it was really nice to see, especially with all of the drama with the younger generation that we're looking at right now, like Summer, Kyle, Lola, Theo, and even, like Billy and Victoria. It's nice to see Victor is more just kind of, taking things one day at a time and just having, just has a very calm outlook on life. So I appreciated that. Kenneth Clark, Eileen, aka Ashley, never disappoints. We've got Brittany Duran in the chat. Hey, Brittany, welcome to the show. And so I just wanted to touch on that with Victor because it was a nice moment that we got to see between them. And because we're going to get so much with the anniversary of Newman next week, it was nice to see that now. And Ashley even made a comment that she didn't know if she'd be able to get a chance to talk to Victor because things would be so crazy. So I liked that we got that, and it was just no drama, no BS, just a very simple and kind conversation between two actors of the show, well, in character, two characters on the show who have had such a long, they've been a part of the show for such a long time. Aaron Brody, right, Kenneth, she looks good. She's in her 60s. I hope I look that good in my 60s. And then Hubby Joe says, since Victor's retirement, he is more likable. He is showing his caring side more. Absolutely. And I am happy about that. I don't want to see Victor involved in the drama at this point. Like, just, give the character a break and just let him enjoy the retirement and retiring without drama. Well, Victor doesn't have a lot of drama going on right now, but there is somebody who does, and that would be Adam. But before we talk about Adam, I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody listening at home and everybody in the chat right now. Thank you for being the best part of AfterBuzz TV, and your comments always help us grow and you help us learn, and just you being a part of the show helps us to be the ESPN of TV talk. So I just wanted to give a shout out and just let you guys know that every time you like, subscribe, follow, give us 5 stars on iTunes because the others don't work, it helps us to just continue doing what we're doing. So thank you again. All right, let's talk about Adam. We had heard that he and Chelsea were planning on moving to Paris, and it was this whole big thing. And next thing you know, when we came into this week, they weren't. And that was one, I was confused about that because I was thinking, all right, well, did we even get an explanation of why? But then as the scenes kind of went forward with them, we learned that, Connor didn't really like Paris. And I was like, but who doesn't like Paris? Now, I get it. As a little kid, being in a city where they are not, they're not speaking, obviously they speak French. Like, you're not really, like it is very, I'm sure, very nerve-wracking for a little kid to be in a foreign country where it's a different language, the culture is different. I get that, but as Hubby Joe and I can tell you, we love Paris, and it's hard for me to imagine anyone saying that they wouldn't want to be there because of how amazing it is. But, just the fact that Connor's a little kid and it's moving him away from his home, I get that. But Adam obviously has a bigger problem with everything going on in Las Vegas with the woman who we do not know the identity of. And so it feels crazy that I almost even feel like maybe Adam's not moving because he knows he needs to take care of this, and that's the real reason, not so much Connor. Because Adam even said, well, we can move if we want. We're the adults. It won't matter how Connor feels. To which Chelsea says, yes, we're the parents. We need to do what he wants. But it's a hard situation when you're moving a little kid. He's like an 8 or 9-year-old. It's hard because at that age, like if you're going to move, you're probably better off moving a child before they get too old to the point where they have all their friends and everything with school. We know that Connor has moved around a lot though, so I feel like this is just an excuse. Obviously he doesn't speak French, but I think that it's right now Chelsea and Adam are using excuses to, so that they don't actually move. But we got a lot with Adam in Las Vegas. I did not expect that the tracker was going. Well, at first I wasn't sure if it was a tracker or if it was some kind of recording device. We quickly realized that it was Phyllis's doing. She planted some kind of recording mechanism so she could hear this conversation between Chance and Adam. And I thought that was brilliant. Here's Nick thinking he actually helped Phyllis and made her come to her senses. And maybe he did in a way, but I just found it especially interesting that it was, Phyllis found another way of getting the results. And actually, I think she was brilliant in that sense because she recognized that she was not going to be able to get the information she wanted to get unless she did it this way. So absolutely brilliant the way she handled that. And we learned a little bit more. It was still kind of not 100% clear about what they were really doing in Las Vegas, other than the fact that there was some kind of, it sounds like an accident where somebody either died or got hurt, and it basically trapped Adam and Chance into everything going on and linked them, and that's why they have to take care of this. But you know, for everybody listening in the chat, what are your comments and thoughts on this situation between Adam and Chance and their involvement? And what's your take on it? I would love to hear that. If you want to drop a comment either in the live chat, or if you're listening and we're not live, you can absolutely leave a comment on the actual YouTube video and I will read it next time. So let's move on. Let's talk about Victoria and Billy and Amanda and just everything that happened with them, because it was, the more that I see Billy, the more that I actually dislike him. I'm just going to tap in here to the comments. Aaron Brody, I almost forgot about Adam and Chelsea until they showed up this week. That's hilarious. Let's see. Kenneth agreeing with Aaron about Nikki looking good as well. And Mary says, still confused what's going on with Adam. Okay, so I'm not the only one, because they've mentioned a female, and at first I thought it was Amanda, because of the way that they were kind of like tap dancing around it. But the more they talk about it, I mean, now it's evident that it is not Amanda. But for a while, it could have been Amanda. Now it's like, okay, who's the female? Because I don't think the female was the woman who showed up to talk to them. I think the female is somebody else. But yeah, I'm still a little bit confused about what is actually happening, because what they're doing is every time we hear Chance and Adam talk, they're trying to keep that level of mystery, and I respect that, and I think that that is a great way to tell a story and keep us all interested. I think it's getting to a point where it's starting to be a little bit too much of a mystery. We need to have a little bit more, we need some more concrete details about this, and I want to see who they're talking about, because if they know who they're talking about, maybe it's yet to be determined in the writer's room. That is a possibility, but I want to see who they're talking about and what's going on with her. Okay, Hubby Joe, knowing what Adam did for Chance makes me like Adam more. Aaron Brody, Phyllis needs a life. Yeah, I mean, a couple weeks ago, she was more concerned with Sharon, obviously, and the breast cancer scare, but now she's back to typical Phyllis. And then Susan Russo says, and just like that, Phyllis was super annoying again. Yeah, definitely. Aaron Brody, but at least she's finally uncovering whatever this Chance/Adam drama is finally. Kenneth Clark, Adam and Chelsea, aka Mark and Melissa, looked great in the opening credits. And then Hubby Joe, Billy is getting out of hand. I don't like what they did with him, and Victoria. Okay, so, and Todd Beaton's here. Hey, Todd. Okay, let's talk a little bit then about Victoria and Billy. We had a conversation with them, the final conversation. All I'm going to say about this is that what annoyed me is that Billy pegged all of this and his breakup with Victoria on Victor. I was like, come on. No, Victor had almost nothing to do with this. Billy's the one who broke up with Victoria. It was not Victoria. It was not Victor. And I think it was Victoria who actually made a brilliant comment that it was because of the fact that Victor had meddled that they broke up. Because whenever Victor meddles, Victoria and Billy have drama, and Billy's like very interested and he stays. So it was the opposite effect. It was like Billy being at a content, it wasn't a marriage, but in a content relationship. That is why he needed to go. And I mean, we've seen him with Phyllis. He was with her for such a long time, but Phyllis, there's always drama and there's always like excitement for Billy. But with Victoria, he got bored, and that's exactly what it was. But yet, Billy's never at fault, and Billy had to blame Victor, even though Victor, okay, fine, like Victor mentioned that Billy had that he found a receipt of Billy staying in a motel. Fine. Whether that's true or not, Billy had already broken up with Victoria, so it didn't even matter that Victor said that to Victoria. It just did not matter. And the fact that Billy would, blame Victor, I'm just like, okay, Billy, you need to actually have a better understanding of what happened here. And maybe he forgot what happened, that he was the one who sat down and said, I need to leave. I don't know. Billy is very confusing, and he is probably the character I dislike the most right now of anyone on the show, not counting Ripley. I mean, yeah, he's just very, there's no question about Ripley. He's just a bad guy. But outside of Ripley, Billy is definitely the character I do not like at all. And I originally was kind of shipping Billy and Amanda when they were doing that whole thing with Billy not really knowing who he was, and they were playing the noir sounding music, and it fit a certain mood, and I liked it. But now they're just making Billy seem like he's going through some kind of midlife crisis without the midlife part. And so it's just kind of not the greatest for him. And then kind of separately with Amanda, they had this moment where they were up on the roof, and it could have been seen as a romantic moment where they were just releasing all this pent-up energy and screaming at the top of their lungs on the top of a roof, and that was nice and everything. But then I think beyond that, when Billy just started escalating more, like with the sports car, that's the point where it just goes beyond anything, and it's just, at a certain point, Billy just needs to find something. He just needs to actually stop acting so recklessly. Todd Beaton, I like Billy and Amanda together. Yeah, I do too, definitely. I do, but I want Billy to stop acting the way that he is. Aaron Brody, Billy never takes responsibility for anything. Same old Billy, a screw up. Yeah, and when we had that conversation with Jack and Victor talking about this, Victor even said, you always spoiled him, and that's why he acts this way. You need to just let Billy go off and make his mistakes. And Victor does have a point. I'll give him that. So it makes sense to me, and I hope that they do just let Billy go, because maybe that is the problem. It's either been Victoria there helping Billy, or one of his girlfriends, or his family, and maybe now's the time where Billy just needs to leave the nest fully and, make his mistakes and try to fix them on his own. Kenneth Clark, I was thinking Lily would come back to town with her new man, and it's Ripley. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Ripley. And then after that, we'll talk about Summer and Kyle, because we had some drama there too. But basically, Amanda and Ripley, I think what concerns me is that we know that Ripley's coming back. Just on the language that Ripley used. It was this whole setup where Amanda sat Ripley down with Ray in the background and said, hey, this is what you're going to do. You're going to leave town or, else, basically. And Ripley's like, oh no, like not even to Amanda, but to, I guess, to the audience without actually directly speaking to us and kind of to Ray. He said that he's coming back and that this isn't going to deter him from getting what he wants. So we have not seen, this is not even a prediction. I mean, I haven't seen the script or anything. I'm just saying, I know this is what's going to happen. We are going to see Ripley again, and it is not going to be good. And they're just I feel like that's what they're doing with him, is that they're just escalating the situation, almost like a JT moment, except he's not JT. He's not in a relationship with Amanda. She's clearly made it obvious she does not want to be involved with him, but he is just not getting the memo. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to see him again. Let's move on and talk about Summer, Theo. Well, not really Theo. So last week on Restless Rap, I had posted as the caption that a picture of Theo banging his head against the refrigerator in the kitchen at Society, after he said to Lola, I don't want to sleep with you because it would be rushing into things. And that was technically Monday's episode, but it's gotten, with the way that the scheduling is with Y&R, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks back, with with just different things that were airing on CBS, the order that the episodes were recorded for me kind of got mixed up. So we kind of talked about this last week, but this week we'll talk about it again, was that whole situation with Theo, and that kind of has led into what we have going on now with Summer and Kyle, in the sense that we know that each couple has kind of broken it up, and We see Summer and Kyle officially together, kind of, sort of, which to me is so... I want them to be together. I'm happy about it. But Kyle's change of heart, I said this last week, and I'm just going to say it again. His change of heart just... I'm not sure if it's that Kyle didn't want to be single, and that's why he jumped into, being with Summer so quickly, or because if you go back to last week, Kyle was just going to stay with Lola. The only reason they broke up, really, is because Lola kept pressing Kyle with, "Are you sure there's nothing else you don't want to tell me?" And after she said it like 10 times, Kyle finally said, "Yeah, I still have feelings for Summer." And it went from there. And so to me, it was more like, yes, like Kyle and Lola did agree they were done, but it just went from Kyle still loving Lola to suddenly, oh, he's all about Summer, like way too fast. And I think that's what, like, even Jack said it a lot, like Nick has gotten involved, Ray's involved. It's just such a mess. And I think that's what's really going to kill this relationship, is that Summer and Kyle are jumping into this way too quickly. I don't trust that Summer's gonna want to stay with him. I don't trust that Kyle's gonna want to stay with Summer. I kind of feel like Kyle's gonna be the one to hurt Summer first, though, just because of his track record with jumping back and forth. I genuinely believe that she had this whole conversation with Kyle where she basically said that what happened was, after she had been burned so many times and first came back to Genoa City, and she had that whole, the whole bet situation with Kyle. I remember like 2 years ago talking about this on the show, where it led into Kyle saying, Kyle and Summer agreeing that if she didn't get Billy, that if she did get Billy, she'd get Kyle's car. If not, she'd have to sleep with Kyle. So I loved how they brought that back up. It was a very nice touch. But we also got this very intimate, personal conversation where Summer said that she's glad they didn't sleep together back then when she lost the bet, because she knew that she would have wanted to be with Kyle. And that was the whole thing, is that she wasn't in a place to be vulnerable with someone at that time. And it does seem to be very true. I'm just kind of worried now that either Kyle or Summer are going to mess this up because they're jumping into it too quickly. Hubby Joe, let's see how Hubby Joe feels about Kyle, because he has just said some very strong things. Hubby Joe, Kyle is a scum, 5 exclamation points. Hubby Joe, Kyle is a player, 4 exclamation points. So, yes, we have his thoughts on Kyle. Okay, let's see. Actually, I'm going to step back, too, because we have 2 comments about Billy. Hubby Joe, now Billy is yelling off the roof of the hotel and crashing cars into trees. I like how Victor told Jack that he needs to hit rock bottom, then become a man and pick himself up. And then Heron Brody said, exactly, Joe. Billy has always been his worst enemy. That's why he got along so well when dating Phyllis. They both the same person. Yeah, and we did get a Phyllis-Billy conversation. So who knows? It's been a while since they broke up. We could always see a reunion, but nothing official yet, and nothing that would really make me think that anything romantic is going to happen soon. But yeah, just going back to Summer and Kyle, it is way too soon. I am worried for them, though we did get some very touching moments between the two of them, and with Jack, and Jack saying he supports them. Jack, I have said this before, Jack is my MVP. I know past Jack would have done some shady things, and maybe he was more like Theo, but yeah, exactly. But Jack is my MVP because he is just consistently showing up and giving all the right advice and just everything that he does. He is just, father of the year right there. At least, the Jack that we're seeing now and that we've seen the last couple of years. Definitely, MVP. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get to our segments. Let's touch on our Caption That.
Caption That.
Okay, so as you can see up on the screen, this is perfect timing because we were just talking about Jack and Summer and Kyle. This was the moment when Jack walked in on them. So yeah, this was our Caption That, and I asked some of you on the @RestlessRap Facebook page to give me a comment, and we're gonna vote on these guys. So I'm gonna read them, and then I'm gonna check back in with the chat, and you guys tell me which one is your favorite. So Joe Miliano, aka Hubby Joe, says, "Summer, I can't wait to get out of here with you." Kyle, "I miss Lola's cooking." Kenneth Kenny Clark says, "Kyle, me and Theo are married, and I am with you to see if you qualify for a surrogate." Summer, "What?" Todd Beaton, "Kyle, how long do you give this?" "About as long as Victoria and Billy did." Ooh, burn. Mary Dell, "Are we doing this again? Will you rip out my other kidney for Lola?" Oh, that deserves a round of applause. Mary, I think that I saw this one earlier. I think this might be my winner, but let's read the next two. Michelle Pabian says, "Haha, Summer is leaving the soap." And then Sherry Wineland says, "Who? Bad boy Kyle?" Yeah. So, all right, if everybody wants to vote on the comment that you like the most of the ones that I read, you can also see them on @RestlessRap on Facebook if you have not already gone there and liked that page. I always post the Caption That's, and I post the link to the show. And then sometimes if there's something really major going on, I post about Restless Rap too, or The Young and the Restless, and we have conversations. So if you're not there already, you should definitely go there. I just want to say too that when I was watching all of this going down with Kyle and Summer, I went on YouTube and I tried to find, little Kyle, just to kind of jog my memory and see like what he was like. And there's this video out there. You can find it if you just type Kyle Summer Y&R Kids. It pops up, and like it was a fan video somebody created where they basically showed how Kyle and Summer are soulmates, and Summer did say something along those lines in this week's episode. But it just kind of shows them as little kids holding hands, and maybe for next week I'll, take a screenshot so we can actually see that, but I thought that was very endearing. Okay, so let's see what everybody said. Hubby Joe, winner Mary. Kenneth Clark, Mary. Aaron Brody, I like the kidney one, which was Mary. Todd Beaton, Todd, mine is the best. Well, I gave you a second vote then, Todd, for, just to support. But yeah, otherwise, I would say Mary for the win. Are we doing this again? Will you rip out my other kidney for Lola? That was hilarious. All right, let's get to our lol moment. Let me know in the chat what you found to be the funniest moments this week. I almost did not have a lol moment. I almost said that we should skip it this week because there was nothing that was funny to me. But I did. Good old Victor. Always count on him, or Gloria, who we haven't seen in a long time. But Victor pumping his fists after Ashley said that she thinks he's doing well. He did something like this, like he pumped both of his fists. I was like, wow. Okay, so anytime there is a Victor moment where he's pumping one fist or two fists, that will probably be part of my lol moment. Todd Beaton says, this is about Summer and Kyle. Summer and Kyle never grew up. Kyle lives with his mom, yeah. Kenneth Clark, Abby in her white bird wardrobe. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Kenneth. That was actually, I didn't put it as my lol, but for anyone who doesn't remember, I mean, it's kind of hard to forget, but they were like feathers on Abby's white shirt. And even Joe was like, what is she going to do? Fly away? I was like, oh my God. Okay. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And just the fact that it was very, the feathery, like they were random too. It wasn't like, they were just like kind of laid out on, a very awkward place on the arm. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so let's get to our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Lola and Theo, it is happening. Even if it's for revenge, I don't think that Theo's going to keep up the whole, oh, I can't do this act for much longer. I think he's going to cave. And especially when he finds out, when Summer and Kyle start going around saying they're together, I think that Theo's going to drop whatever it was he was trying to do, and it will happen. That is my thought. Even though it kind of sounds like Lola might be going away for a little bit, but I think that Lola and Theo are happening. Also, I'm expecting that something is, we haven't seen a lot of drama with Victor, but maybe next week with the Newman 50th anniversary, Adam talked about going to that, so I would guess that something major is going to happen at that event. Let me see if there's any other comments in the chat before we wrap. Todd Beaton, Summer, and Kyle think they're going to last. Yeah, I'm worried. I want them to last, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then Kenneth Clark, fly, Abby, fly. And then Hubby Joe says Kyle and Summer will have a long relationship. Okay, so this has been a very funny show talking about birds and people's wardrobe. My name is Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Twitter at Rach Goodman or on my author Instagram account at Rachel Radner Author. If you haven't done so already, we're also on Facebook at Restless Rap. If you go over, like, follow, I always post the link to the show and we can talk Y&R there all week long. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next week, have a wonderful day.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.